Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Campbell.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. It is an FYF Friday. That's Fornicate Your Feelings. We're going to go over the O-lines today, and the running back rooms. And PFF kind of did it for me for the best ones in the league. And I just want to post the meme because I think it's funny. Number 1, San Francisco 49ers, 2 Miami Dolphins, 3 Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens, Atlanta Falcons, Detroit. Oh, no, that's Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts, Cleveland Browns, Philadelphia Eagles, and New York Jets. That's so wrong. They changed the Green Bay Packers to the Lions logo. What is going on here? Fornicate Your Feelings Friday is what it is. And yes, I kind of agree with that list, though. Except I probably would have the Lions right behind Miami and then San Francisco behind there because they've got CMC and then there's a big drop off behind them. Good morning, Smoking Dad. How you doing? Another great day. But that is the running back rooms, and I think it's correct. Other than that, I think Miami's is a little better than Detroit's overall because they've got speed for days. If they can stay healthy, they're dangerous. And that one kid rushed for what was it, 276 yards last year, was like 2 yards away from breaking a record as a rookie. Granted, he was going up against the Broncos defense, which was as porous as Swiss cheese, melted, being held together with a fishnet. I saw it was 2.1. Let me double check for you. There's another 2 million gone in dead cap space, so more than likely it would be the dead cap number. Yep, 4.2 million. It did go up from 2.1 to 4.2, so that's why we have 2.1 million less. And the adjusted cap room is 32.486. So yes, that is what we got. So the more that comes off of there, the less we have for next season. That's the way I look at it. But we do have room on the roster to add one more before training camp, so we're at 89 now. Good afternoon, Ricky. Yes, no Von Doom today. He's working again. That poor bastard. He did 18 hours yesterday. I'm gonna check Spot Track to make sure. The Packers didn't sign Bates. We signed Bates. Packers signed James Turner, the guy we cut. We waived. Yeah, over the cap's ahead of Spot Track. Spot Track hasn't even adjusted for the new dead cap hit on Cam Sutton yet. They're behind the 8 ball. Over the cap was dead on it. Jake, James, Jim, they all sound the same. It's James Turner. There's no B in his last name. The only 2 B kickers we got are Badgley and Bates. Oh yeah, Goody Curse is already mad about that too. We're the villains again in Green Bay. Hope it stays that way. Yeah, that's all they are is hypotheticals. There's no truth to it whatsoever. I've seen nothing out of Allen Park. I've heard nothing from Risden or Tim 20 Man about it. So till I hear it from either DetroitLions.com, Tim 20 Man, or Jeff Risden, it ain't happening. I don't know why people pay attention to all of the clickbait sports idiots out there and talking heads that don't understand football and cap room. There's there's so many false reports out there. If I did just a rumor show, I could talk for 8 hours straight. But Ayuk is the exact same player as St. Brown. It's not an improvement. So I disagree. We've seen what happens having JMO on the field. Everybody underneath gets open. So I love the Lions, but I want to sign our top 20 players to long-term contracts. Exactly. Ayuk going to want St. Brown money. He's in the last year of his contract. We still have control for JMO for up to 2 years on a rookie deal for way less than 25 million or more a year. So fiscally, exactly, Detroit fan man, someone gets it. Yes, Will, I understand that you're happy, you're excited. It's Lions talk time. Actually, no, it wasn't. Is undone. You're the only one that's disappointed with it. I don't get this. He was open and not targeted. You can't blame the wide receiver. He didn't have a drop from week 7 to week 11. You can't blame JMO. Uh, I would rather have appendicitis than Armani or Awarie. I mean, I'm just sick of the negative hate talking about players that are on the team, calling people busts after their first and second years, calling people busts before they even get out of rookie camps. I'm sick of it. It doesn't make sense. It makes about so much sense. JMO's not replacing Reynolds, according to Dan Campbell, because Reynolds was wide receiver 3. It's a battle between, because Raymond was the 2. They're already saying JMO is better than Raymond, according to everything I seen at camp. They're saying JMO is better than Raymond because the air conditioner's at 69 and I'm old. I don't know why anybody expected a lot out of JMO when he missed key parts of the preseason. He missed key game playing time and had to get up to game speed. This whole team took 3 games to get up to game speed last year, or it wouldn't have been win, loss, win. And now, I think if we wouldn't have had CJGJ on the field at all, guess what? Guess what? We might not have lost a game. There, I said it to start the season. But in the division, if you're doing it by individual running backs, if you do it by career, Josh Jacobs would be number 1. JMO insane outside Raymond in the slot sounds great to me. I think part of the JMO hate comes from premature fantasy opens. I too drafted JMO once. That was tough. The kid is now 23 years old. He will hit his prime in about probably 2 to 3 years. Okay, as undone. Should have drafted Kyle Hamilton, who had 2 less tackles and the exact same stats as Kirby Joseph. We drafted Kirby Joseph in the 3rd round. We drafted Kyle Hamilton in the 3rd round. Trent McDuffie, nobody knew he'd be that good. Or he'd have been the first cornerback off the board. No, he wouldn't have. Because guess what? Sauce still would have been the first corner off the board. Oh, Jesus Christ. The burner accounts are out in full force today. A guy that can't even spell mania right. But you're absolutely right, Detroit fan, man. That's what it is. But yeah, wide receivers don't hit their prime till 25, 26 years old, and then it lasts for about 3, 4 years. And then there's a steep drop off at 30. It depends on who wins the wide receiver 3, because right now they're saying it's an even battle between Raymond, DPJ, and Green. I don't I don't think our defense looks slow. I think they look like they couldn't do their jobs last year. And we kept switching things. When they would just get into the flow of the game, the defense start to speed up and play at a different level, and then we switch stuff. Well, according to Dan Campbell, probably not is undone. So be prepared to be disappointed about that. Because so far, JMO and St. Brown has been our two most consistent receivers all camp. And Detroit fan man says, well, yeah, because incompetence usually looks slow. You're right. My biggest problem that I've seen with the defense, it took all year to get that defense playing good with the nobodies on it in 2021 in a 3-4 under. Remember, that was the original plan. We were going 3-4. We draft all 3-4 players. 2 weeks after the draft, AG does the best comments. We're switching to a 4-2-5 this year. I was I was on the fire AG train that second. I went on a rant right here, and I think Detroit fan man, you were here and you agreed with me. I was like, we just drafted 4 defensive guys in key positions in a 3-4 under defense, and yet we switched to a 4-2-5. And I understand it was due to the lack of linebacker depth, because then you're required to have 8 linebackers. We had 7, which means somebody stays on the field too long out of the rotation. But at the same time, it didn't make sense because, like I said, it took 10 games for that defense to look even remotely like an NFL defense in year 1. No excuses this year, AG. Amen. And plus, you hear that Ennis Rakestraw was recovering from his hamstring. So that hindered his 40 time, which explains why he had one of the 3 best times of a defensive play according to NCAA when tracked by GPS. Terrion Arnold was getting over some sort of sickness or something, so he wasn't even running right. Well, and that explains the 4.5s they ran. But a 4.5 isn't slow, it's just not fast. 4.5 is average speed in the NFL. Look it up across the board. Any position. 4.5 is the median. Yeah, I think they said he's weighing 193. I follow them all. I pay attention to that stuff. So is anybody going to be upset if Rakestraw beats out Amik Robertson to be the CB3? Are we really going to be upset? Because think about this. If Amik Robertson is your dime, we're in good shape, people. It's either going to be Amik or Carlton at the dime. They are saying Terrion's pretty much a lock at CB2, which I'm glad they're doing that to a rookie. If you're going to have a rookie out there at CB2, I'd much rather have that than CB1, no matter how good he is. That's not true. The Chiefs were the worst in drops. We were 22nd in drops. Um, and a lot of it had to do with Josh Reynolds after week 9 and Jamison Williams from weeks 4 through 7. Is undone. I disagree with you there. His stats make Jerry Jacobs look awful, and he's been a dog for Oakland. I got Oakland fans still mad we gotta get him. Yep, how this room shakes out mostly is a guess other than CB2. They're saying that Terrion Arnold is a lock at CB2, so we know that's done. Everything else is a battle. Yeah, we won't know if Mosley's healthy until the second week of camp. Is undone. The short answer is yes. Tracy Walker is a great tackler, a good in the box safety, but he has no hands whatsoever. How many footballs hit him in the hands in the one game? Wasn't it 3? And then in the next game another 4, and then in the next game another 2, and then in the next game his only interceptions he's had has been off of tipped balls. He's that bad. And he doesn't have the same speed he used to have. Say what you want, that Achilles hindered his speed. Oh, pardon me. This is when you know someone's bad. The fact he's never had more than one interception in a season is pretty bad. Amen, brother. I don't even care if it's a burner account. Shout it from the rooftops. I like it. I don't think you have anything less than 700 yards and 5 touchdowns and about 45 to 50 catches at minimum. I'm not doubting you. Get yours, young man. Get yours. Wait, a slower guy who can't catch? He'd probably be a stellar tiger. Can he hit? Jameson Williams, prove me wrong. I'm saying that's my minimum numbers I expect out of JMO. Minimum. As long as he's healthy for all 17 games, that's my minimum for him. And the fact he put on weight and he's pushing off of corners and press coverage now, I like it. And everyone else here in this chat should like hearing stuff like that. Because that was the knock on him. There's always a possibility of regression. No matter what anyone thinks, no matter how good a roster is, injuries can derail a team. A bad losing streak at the wrong time, like a 2 or 3 game losing streak, can demoralize a team and send them into a wrong culture for the season. It's more of I don't really want to say culture. I want to say mindset, if that makes sense. But I think the chances are less than it has been of any Lions team we've ever had because this year is probably our most talented roster from front to back that I've ever seen. Everything's possible. Still waiting for my Holly Berry date. There you go, Detroit fan man. I still think we improved everywhere we were weak at. Despite what anybody thinks as a fan, we have improved. So therefore, we didn't expect 12 or more wins last year. We got 14 with the playoffs. How can you expect anything less than what they did in season? Because not every team that was near us or above us got better. Some of them got worse. Oh my goodness. I mean, why does everybody think that I think we got way more depth. Reader's not missing time because he's hurt right now, people. He's missing time because his wife is giving birth, and it's been a tough pregnancy. So he has to be home to help take care of a baby for a few weeks. I'm sick of the talk like that. Davenport, that's why I want Betts to be the starter. You can say what you want, but that protects Reader from getting hurt if he's not out there every damn, or Davenport from getting hurt if he's not out there every damn play. The fresher legs you can keep on the field, the better. I want Davenport and Houston to be guided missiles in passing situations that come in every now and then. And the only reason why I'm touting Betts is a better run defender than anybody else opposite Hutch on this roster. Not Pascal, no, because Pascal hasn't proved shit to me. I got Pascal right next to Levi as far as I don't know what to expect out of him. All I know is I didn't hear one bad day for Betts in camp. Everybody was talking about his elite bend, his change of direction, and his get off. That's all I heard about the entire camp every day. And the fact he was making plays in the backfield, not only in passing plays, but in running plays, which sounds like he's our best defensive end option right now. And Dan Campbell, if it's proven on the field, you're going to get the start over a big guy. He could be. And I said that. That's the ceiling for him. Hello, Dwayne Keene. Good afternoon to you, sir. I've said all along the ceiling for Betts is the next Cameron Wake. The floor is he's back in the CFL next year because it was a cheap signing. It's a win-win signing. At $795,000 as a vet minimum deal, that's a win, guys. Now, granted, we're paying it over 3 years with 2 void years at that amount. But that's how teams keep their salary cap down, putting money into the future. Let's go. Detroit Lions won pride, Kings of the North Division title last year. We can do it again this year. Let's bite kneecaps all year on every team. We better. Broderick Martin's not being cut. They've already been bragging about him. He actually has been starting DT2 the entire time with the first string all camp. So your takes are way out there as undone, and it's trolling at this point. I have refuted your bust takes on so many people every time. Yet you continue to say them every day. I think the surprise cut is still there isn't a surprise. It's going to be either Levi Onwuzurike, Jameer Jefferson. It's going to be someone like that. Somebody that's due for a contract extension. They can't afford to cut Broderick Martin. It costs $5 million against the cap when he only has a $1 million cap hit. What kind of sense is that? Martin's only been in the league for 1 season. J-Mo hasn't even played a full season yet. So I don't get your hate of Martin. He played 18 snaps, took on 10 double teams. One of them freed up Aleem for a sack that Benito Jones couldn't do. At the end of the day, some guys will surprise and some will disappoint. I mean, I don't understand your hatred of those two gentlemen. Brad Holmes has even came out and said, don't judge a guy till year 3. But yet you haven't said one thing bad about Levi Onwuzurike. He's played 3 years and a bum. But you haven't said anything about him. But you're real quick to call Martin a bum. It's irritating. Oh, so you're putting fantasy value over real player value. You're one of those guys. Okay, now I get it. Now I can ignore your takes. That's like Dan Leonard hating the Lions because they cost him in a parlay because he bet against us in the first year I ever knew him. I do not let my addictions and my hobbies override my fandom. I don't know. I had JMO on my roster as my wide receiver 6, and I won my league because I knew when to play him. I know you kind of called it, but I was waiting for him to say it. I was waiting for him to say it. Anybody that puts any type of gambling or fantasy above reality, I check out on. I know you did, Detroit fan, man, and I was just waiting for the proof. I did not draft rookie JMO because I knew we might not see him before Thanksgiving. But I drafted him for depth last year because no one wanted him. No one. Last round, but still. Yeah, you know what? I take my kicker in the last round, and sometimes I don't even take a kicker, and I'll wait for UDFAs. So I just checked on the reader thing, and I do think he is still recovering from the week 13 leg tear. He hasn't participated in any offseason dream. Yeah, but you know when he wasn't clutch? When we needed him most. So Josh Reynolds being gone is not a big loss to me. Goff immediately improved when we changed the play calling too. So I don't. It all kind of went hand in hand, and Reynolds was here before we changed the play calling. So is it great? I don't know. In 2021, we changed the play calling, and that's when Goff improved. Martin is developing. Levi was injured. This is the time for hoping the best for everyone. I know, and anybody that says, "Oh, this guy's going to be cut and this guy's going to be cut," when they're in their second and third years of rookie contracts, makes no sense to me. No one can get worse than Benito Jones, and I've explained this 100 times. He had 6 impactful snaps for 602 snaps. Do the math. That's 1%. It's actually less than 1%. It's like 0.98. We rotated through 5 different starting defensive tackles, but Benito Jones had the bulk of the snaps. And that's just at the DT too. That's not including the 6th guy that started every game, and that's Aleem McNeil pretty much. Let's see, we signed guys off the street. Martin came in and subbed in 3 different games and actually had impact in some of them, even though you didn't see it. All you're remembering is the one play where he got rolled backwards. That happened one time out of 18 snaps. And everybody takes that and goes, "Oh, but he got ragdolled by a guard." It's going to happen. It happens to every defensive tackle in the league. Even Aaron Donald got ragdolled by by Sewell. But everybody forgets about that. I was hoping they'd do the Aleem contract sooner than later. And I'll explain why. If they get it out of the way, he'll be great. If he's motivated, has a great contract year, and then fails us next year, everybody's going to be calling for his head. It's Romeo Aquara all over again. I don't know if we regress. I think we got better overall because we got better tacklers in the secondary also. So the bulk of the snaps on D line is freshly replaced. Could this mean a strong run defense is fresh too? Could that be it could, but I don't expect it. But I do got to do a station break real quick. Why you say, okay, let's see. No speed at CB. I just explained how both our guys were recovering from ailments and ran a poor 40 time, but posted up two of the top 10 speeds in the entire NCAA. But yet you say we don't have speed at CB, and I don't get that. I do not get that. And Dave says, I'm bedbound, so I do 10 games a year. Last year, I got 7 in playoffs and won 3 Super Bowls. It was my best year. Ah, awesome. When he's bedbound, I can almost guarantee you he plays video games because I know I would if I was bedbound. Ralph Williams, RW Media. Hello. How are you, sir? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate the support. And if he doesn't do that, he at least does fantasy or gambling. Had to change out. But it's time to have the fun part of the show. You guys ready to see these? This was voted on the fans of the 33rd team. That is what they think is the best player at every position in the all NFC North offense. I don't see one team represented there. Who's missing? Can anybody tell me? The fun part was when you unzip that hoodie. Woo! Yeah, I know. I got a little heated there for a second. Notice there wasn't a single Packer fan on that voted by the Instagram followers of the 33rd team. There was one Viking, one Bear, and the rest were Lions for that 11-man offense. Adunze's firing shots. It says every time I see green, I nearly puke. And I got a picture of what Green Bay ownership looks like. So those are your memes of the week from the from the huddle. Davey says FTP. Yes, sir. 100%. Oh man, what a great day. Yesterday was a great day to have the day off. Today's a great day to go back to work. I can care less if it's a 90 out. Multiple scoliosis. Turn legs and 1.5 hands to bricks, so it's TV and fantasy football now. I kind of figured. Sorry to hear that, but it's good that you're still here, David Barnett. I had a friend whose dad was done by MS like that. MS has ravaged a lot of people's bodies. Pardon me. Must need to wet my whistle. I feel like I should be a fantasy football expert. Gotcha. Well, I don't have the time to focus on more than one team, so I just drafted one team in one league and won it. But I did have St. Brown Laporta and Giver sold. That probably helped a lot. And I'll give it to Dan Leonard. 2 years ago in 2021, he said that Sam Laporta kid is probably going to end up the best tight end in football. He said that 2 years ago before he was even drafted in 2021. He was bragging about him then, and I didn't know about him because, I don't pay attention to Iowa football. I started keeping track. He turned out pretty damn good. I like him. This guy did I can't share the Instagram reels here, but he did an Instagram reel about the three most overrated teams in the NFL this year. And he said the Bears. Then he went on to the Texans. He said, "Well, it looks like they improved. They might have a regression this year because it's a second year QB." And then he goes, "And my third team that's the most overrated is the Bears again. Why do they keep saying they're going to a Super Bowl just because they drafted a rookie and got a bunch of weapons? That rookie might be why they don't make it." I about died laughing. I thought for sure he was going to throw Dallas in there. When he said the Bears again, I died. Man, it's been a great week. Even though there's been no news, we've had plenty to talk about. Next week, I'm going to focus on defenders, top 10 defenders in the NFC at each position. I might do it by room rather than by individual players. I think picking Laporta on a few teams really helped last year. What was crazy is I was picking 11th in a 12 man, and I took St. Brown in the first, Travis Etienne in the second, doubled down and took Gibbs in the third, then got Laporta in the fifth. Laporta's not going any lower than probably 15th to 20 this year. So if you haven't picked him up at the back end of the first round, you better. I I think David needs to email me. My email is on here. It's at Smoking Jeremy B. It with 1K because I set it up before my name got changed by a logo build. But Smoking Jeremy B at gmail.com. I'd like to talk to you. Maybe we'll do a fantasy football segment or get you started on your own because I think you should. And you don't have to be on camera to talk. You could always do this and just have a logo made and talk behind your logo and talk fantasy football and use your illustrations and stuff through your branding and put stuff up like this. And I would love to help you go along with that if you're interested. You evidently have a good computer or a tablet there and an excellent internet connection. You could do it. Or if you just want to do one show a week, we could make a show for you. Or even just written articles. Yes, and I could actually introduce you to someone. I am a credentialed press reporter. As future manager, I get a portion. But it is Friday, and it's that time to put our favorite non-paying sponsor up on the screen. It is FTP, Fornicate the Packers, or For the Pride, depending on how you want to say it. But put that FTP in the chat. Let me see them. Davey was ahead of the point, ahead of the game there. Such an amazing day. It's only 81 degrees here in Burton. That's a beautiful thing. And on to our other sponsor. It is Brandon's Tire Service right here at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road. Used tires starting at $40. If you need new tires, please give us a call, 810-233-8230. Talk to George Red or myself. That address is 602 West Atherton Road in Flint, Michigan, where the tires are great and the water isn't worth a shit. Grit. It takes more. One pride, go Lions. Yes, sir. 100%. And as always, as the show starts to come to a close, I like to say something as an inspiration, but I actually mean it. I try to live that in my life. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. It does start right here. If more people would live by that, wake up thankful instead of whatever's wrong with me, that's what takes more. If we could do that as fans and as individuals, we can all improve the world around us. The only thing we can control is how we react to situations outside of our control. That's it. There's lots of things out of our control. I try to control it. There's some things that are said that I just can't let go. Yeah, and that's a me problem. I get worked up. I get passionate. I enjoy doing this way too much, though. I'll never quit doing it. I might have to miss a show here or there because of health issues. You saw this is 2 days in a row. About 30 minutes in, I've had to take a break. I haven't had to do that in a long time. I've got issues, but you know why? Because I'm here, and that's the blessing. And that's about it for my religious part. Is blessing. Rest in peace. Willie Mays died yesterday as Donald Sutherland. We lost two legends, one in acting and one in sports. I'm going to give a moment of silence, and then I'll say my outro. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Much love to everybody in the chat. I had fun. The burner account is undone. All you guys, I do love you. I like it being here. I just hate takes. Rest in peace, Hawkeye. Yep, the original Hawkeye, Donald Sutherland. So let's see. I think I'm gonna start at the back end. I'm gonna talk about our safeties, our safety room next week. I'll go safeties, then I'll do corners, then I'll do linebackers, then I'll do defensive ends, then D tackle. That's the order I'll go in. I think DJ Reader will end up being fine. But thank you. Thank you everyone for watching.
Netboard broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.